If you're feeling stuck having the same fights over and over again with nothing changing, then this video is for you. Today we're going to give you a quick overview and a simple introduction to the 6 key skills that will make you connect to your partner better and avoid these endless circular arguments where you seem to make no progress and just get stuck. Because most relationships don't fail because there's not enough love. They fail because there's not enough understanding and communication. Today we're going to go over 6 skills that will help you communicate and connect to your partner and hopefully save you from endless repeating arguments. These 6 essential skills build up on each other and will make any argument easier. You'll build a solid foundation for communication in relationships. Our main goal in relationships is to always communicate with kindness, honesty, and compassion. Because honesty without kindness is cruelty, and kindness without honesty is manipulation. So, let's get into the 6 skills. Step 1 is learn self-awareness first. And with self-awareness, we mean feelings here. Because you can't express what you can't name. If you can't notice that you're angry, you can't tell your partner you're upset. This will not only give you the benefit of being able to better communicate what you're feeling, but also reduce your reactivity and increase clarity. This helps your partner understand you better instead of guessing or reacting to your behavior. What this might look like in action is instead of saying, "You're annoying," just saying, "I'm feeling quite upset right now." One simple way to start learning this is to emotionally journal, which means you just carry a notebook with you and 3 times a day, you just write in how you're feeling and why you think that is. It could be, "I'm not feeling anything right now and I'm having trouble feeling my emotions," or "I'm really angry because the cashier forgot to add sprinkles on my ice cream." This exercise will help you build a step-by-step awareness of how you're feeling and just give that the space in your mind that it needs, because you'll be thinking about, oh, is this a moment where I should journal right now? And it will train your brain to pay more attention to how you're feeling and why. The more you practice this, the more intuitive and easy it will get. The second skill we're looking at today is processing your emotions before you start speaking. In arguments, this will help you respond and not just react to what your partner is saying. It will keep the conversation safe, productive, and connected. And it will help build trust because your partner won't feel ambushed. Because we usually say a lot of things we don't mean when we're very emotional. What this might look like is just taking a deep breath before you start speaking. Way better. Or going for a walk before you have a tough talk. Or telling your partner, "Hey, I'm feeling really upset right now. I could use a moment to calm down before we continue this talk." For the third skill, we're going to look at clear expression. This involves 2 parts: making I statements and non-verbal communication. I statements are the best way to express your needs without eliciting defensiveness and without hurling accusations at your partner. So I'm not going to say, "You're annoying," or "You're attacking me." I'm going to say, "I'm feeling quite attacked right now. I notice I'm getting quite annoyed." This instantly disarms the conversation, because instead of making an accusation, acting like my partner wanted to hurt me, or their goal was to annoy me, or that was the whole purpose behind their behavior, it takes the blame away from them and places just the emphasis on how you're feeling right now. Keep the facts and stop assuming what your partner wanted to do unless they explicitly tell you. If they tell you, "I wanted to piss you off," fair enough. This skill keeps you focused on your experience rather than on throwing accusations at your partner. It reduces defensiveness in the other person, and it builds emotional intimacy instead of arguments. For example, this could look like, "I feel quite overwhelmed if our plans change last minute. I'd love a little bit more of a heads up." Or just nonverbal cues like putting a hand on their shoulder, giving them a hug, turning towards them, keeping eye contact, smiling, not being on your phone while your partner is talking to you, but taking it and putting it down and looking at your partner when they're telling you that they need someone to listen, making the other person feel like you're there. And this leads us into our 4th point, to cultivate active listening and creating presence for our partner. This means listening to understand, not to reply, fix, or judge. This skill matters because this makes your partner feel safe, respected, and seen. And it even builds closeness even when there's a disagreement. And it reduces misunderstandings and reactivity. What this could look like is just keeping eye contact while your partner's talking to you, nodding, or saying something like, "I hear you. That sounds really tough. Do you need support right now or just someone to listen?" and then actually listening to what your partner says. How this could look like is validating your partner's feelings, like, I hear you, I understand that this is frustrating. Do you need someone to listen right now, or do you need someone to help you solve a problem? This solves 90% of the issue. Just knowing that sometimes listening and being there and creating presence and space for your partner is enough. That's all they need. The next step is to develop connection strategies through questions and positive reinforcement. This matters because that presence creates an atmosphere of trust, emotional safety, and intimacy. In these moments of connectedness, the quality of that time matters way more than how much time you have together. If we're spending an afternoon together and I'm just on my phone disconnected from my partner, it's gonna feel way less intimate and way less connected than an actual one-on-one activity. Even if it's just 20 minutes of hugging and talking about our day, and people feel most loved when they feel seen. This might look like just spending some undistracted time with your partner, keeping eye contact, or being in sync with your partner's emotional state. Saying something like, I'm here with you, fully. How to get started on creating more connection is to just ask open-ended questions. Be curious about your partner. Care about, treat them like a book whose next chapter you can't wait to see. You want to figure out, why are you feeling upset today? How can I help? What do you need more of from me to feel more heard, seen? Or how can I make you feel less alone in conflicts? And for the last skill that matters for arguments especially, that builds on all the others, is managing tensions as they arise. Most damage in relationships happens not because of conflict, but because of how we handle it. Tension is normal, but escalation is optional. Escalating conflicts, blame, and shutdowns can erode trust quickly in relationships. Proper conflict management will also mean that you can fight without harming and grow closer as a result of conflict. So it's incredibly important to bring things up before they escalate. So for example, if I'm upset that my partner isn't helping in the household, I'll say, hey, this week it felt like I had to do everything in the house and I would love to be more supported. Could you help me do the dishes? Rather than waiting 3 months of me doing everything in the household and then exploding and saying, you never help me with anything. Why do I always have to do everything? You're just lazy and waltz it off to me because you think you're too good for this work. You'll be way more emotionally charged the longer you let these things fester in you. Treat it like cancer. The longer it stays in you, the more it grows. You should get it out as early as possible. That doesn't mean when you're right about to sleep, open a can of worms. And it means process your feelings first before talking to your partner. Make sure you don't go in there guns blazing like, you're the problem and I do everything right. Why do I have to deal with your behavior? Instead saying, I need more support right now. Or I'm feeling quite upset, or I'm feeling quite left alone. Always remember, it's okay to ask for space if you're feeling overwhelmed or you're noticing you're getting too emotional. It's okay to say, hey, I notice I'm feeling quite overwhelmed right now, or I'm getting worked up. Is it alright if we take a 10-minute break so I can sort out my feelings? If your partner truly cares about you, they won't start yelling and being like, no, we have to continue the argument now. Of course, they're going to be understanding and notice like, yeah, I'd also like to solve this problem. Because an argument should not be a you against me. It should be a us against the problem. And our goal is to change our dynamic and adapt that through compromise, through understanding, to make things work. If you don't want to work on the relationship and don't care about fixing it and just about being right, you shouldn't be in the relationship in the first place, because that's not a healthy dynamic. To finish, I'd like to just bring out Khalil Gibran's famous words, between what is said and not meant, and meant and not said, most of love is lost. I hope this video helped. If it did, please leave a like, comment below what steps you're on or how this helped you resolve conflicts or understand your partner better. And if you need an in-depth guide on each of these skills, they'll be coming out in the next few weeks, and I'll link them in the appropriate parts in the video as well.